And we are live. Guys, welcome to Let's Talk Fishing Video Podcast. Let's Talk Fishing Video Podcast is brought to you by Grant Rods, G-R-A-N-D-T, grantrods.com. Check them out. They're the best rods. I give them my highest recommendation. Best rods in the world. And I have a new advertiser, sponsor, partner, whatever you want to call it. Cornfield Fishing Gear. Cornfield Fishing Gear makes some great mounts. And if you've got live scope, forward face, any type of forward facing sonar, check it out. Cornfield Fishing Gear. I have a very, very special podcast to do tonight. Elijah Talley of the Air Force Fishing League, Louisiana. How you doing tonight, Elijah?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good. Tell us, what is the Air Force, not the Air Force, the Armed Forces Fishing League?
Okay, so Armed Forces Fishing League, when I found it online, it's a nationwide tournament trail set up for military veterans, first responders, DOD contractors, and police, EMS, fire, the whole 9 yards. That we bring our first responders and our nation's heroes together for competition and camaraderie. And they didn't have a place in Louisiana set up for the Armed Forces Fishing League. So I was like, well, let me contact them and see exactly, what this entails. And, I set up with them, and, it's been a journey, and we're kicking off our season this year on Talley 10th at Bridge Bay Resort, 5 a.m. pre-tournament meeting, on-site registration. We'll launch at Safe Light. We're going to go out, fish, have some competition, come back, eat some food, crown a winner of our first event, and we're going to get this thing rolling for Louisiana.
So when is that? What you kind of broke up there a little bit. Could you tell us again when the first tournament is going to be and where?
Yes, sir. It's June 10th. Not this weekend, but next weekend, on Toledo Bend, Bridge Bay Resort. It's right before the Pendleton Bridge on Highway 6. We'll be kicking off there at 5 a.m. You can register online at armedforcesfishing.com. Register for tournaments there, or you can register on site at 5 a.m. and we will launch at Safe Flight and be back for weigh-in at 3 p.m. 3:01, you're late. And we're going to crown that winner. We'll eat some food. We'll have some fun, visit, get to know everybody. And this trail is going to be all year round. We're going to run events all year and all over the state of Louisiana. Our next stop after Toledo Bend is going to be Chico State Park, July 15th. Then we'll move to Cato, and so on. And we'll end up back with a 2-day classic here on Toledo Bend, December 9th and 10th. And then we'll have regional championships and we'll have national championships, all for our veterans, military, and first responders of our nation. And these right now are going to be, they're set up. I'm the only person in the South, but as we grow, we'll add each state, and then we'll have divisionals and nationals and make it big like BASS, Major League Fishing, and all these trails, but highlighting our nation's heroes, the ones who go out and fight every day for our freedoms and keep us safe.
So what's the format of this tournament trail? Is this going to be individual, pro-am? I guess they're not pro-am anymore. Boater, non-boaters, teams?
It's set up to be a team event. You can fish it solo. The entry fee is $100, regardless of whether you're fishing team or individual. We will even let civilians fish it if a guy on your boat is military, first responder, DOD contractor, something like that. He's got to be qualified to fish the AFFL and be in good standings with us.
So you say he has to be a veteran, or or a first responder, does he have to provide proof?
Yes, everybody will have to show proof of that when you become a member. The website uses ID Me, so if you're already, a lot of people that shop and give veteran discounts, if you're already a member of ID Me, it goes straight through because they've already verified your information. Law enforcement, all they have to do is submit a photo of their commission, work ID from DOD, something of those sorts, and you're good to go.
Okay, like I have a DD-214. I could just submit that with the Armed Forces Fishing League website.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir. If you follow all the prompts, it'll go take you through every step to become a member. Then you can go to, once you become, we call it enlistments. Once you pick your enlistment, there's 1 year, there's lifetime. You can go 1 year to lifetime up in the spectrum. But once you become that member, and then you can go to our AO tab, which is Area of Operations, and you can scroll down to the map of the United States, and you can click on the areas you want to fish. They'll be highlighted in a color. Once you click on that state, it'll bring you, like if you click on Louisiana, once you click on Louisiana, it'll bring up my whole tournament schedule. Times, registration, you register right there online. There is a $10 big bass pot that's paid at the ramp when you go.
Only 10, that's nice.
Yeah,
this is affordable. I like this,
Right. Well, I mean,
$10 big bass pot. Wow.
Well, we know when we work for government agencies, the pay is always not that good and the work is strenuous. I mean, if you think about it, your return on investment for working for, military, private's pay is not that much, As you work through, you grow and make good money doing it, but base salaries for these guys aren't that expensive and cost of living is high. So Armed Forces Fishing League wants to make this affordable for everybody. That way, it's not that much, and we pay out 1 in every 5 places. Not only do we pay out 1 in every 5 places, portions of your entry fee are going to go to a veterans organization of the tournament director's choice. So we have several in this area that we have in a pool right now to choose from, and I think we might spread it out a little bit between them. But that's something myself and the owner Nick from AFFL will work out, and we'll get the monies to the right people. He takes care of all that stuff, all the logistics. Amazing man to run this organization. I want to thank him here for even building it, because we know 22 veterans a day commit suicide to war stresses and other deals. And if we can get these veterans out on the water, we can get them fishing, we can tell their stories. They have other veterans and people who deal with those same issues on an everyday basis. We can have outdoor therapy.
Yes.
Maybe with a little money too, so all while supporting good causes like veteran charity organizations to help veterans out. So, with all that being said, it's a win-win.
I'm excited about this. Toledo Bend, Chico State Park, Lake Caddo. Those are all huge, giant bass places. The trophy potential at those 3 bodies of water is just incredible. Caddo Lake, so many 10-pound plus. And we all know Toledo Bend is just out of control. Particularly this year, Toledo Bend has been just out of control with the 10-pound plus fish. And Chico, 7 to 8, 9, 10-pounders. Of course, they're not common, but it's not uncommon there.
Oh, it's not uncommon, and that's why we picked like Cato and Chico in the hottest months of the year, because we can get in them shade trees, catch fish, and stay cool. and not have that chance of dehydration and all that. I mean, if you were out here on Toledo Bend, big old open lake, hardly no shade, you're going to roast.
Yeah. And you certainly don't want us old veterans who are broken like I am.
Drink water.
Yeah, you don't want us dying out there. Yeah, well, I work out on bridges. I know about heat. I worked on bridges in southern Louisiana. So yes.
Very hot.
I know all about heat. Sometimes I drink over a gallon of water a day, and that's why I'm still alive.
Yes, sir.
But this is exciting. This is exciting. So your first tournament's going to be on Toledo Bend. Tell me how you have extensive experience fishing Toledo Bend. We talked about that. Tell me how do you think the bite's going to be in mid-June?
Everything got off to an early start this year on Toledo Bend. The spawn happened really early. And the fish have really been in a funk here lately. I mean, it's a massive dink fest, but as we're progressing along, I mean, you can catch fish all day long. I mean, I've had 50, 60, 70 fish days, but nothing over 2.5, 3 pounds.
I'll take them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good day of fishing.
Yes.
The offshore bite right now is heating up big time, and that's where you're going to want to be fishing for this event. They're grouped up, they're feeding. You can find creek channels that are in the back of a pocket, that might have, 10 to 15 foot of water on them, but have that channel swing real close to where there's some vegetation real close by or whatever. You want to go fish those areas in the morning and then, drop back out onto those humps and ledges and, offshore bite during the heat of the day. But man, the big fish are grouping up. And I think that the people who are going to come fish this event, I think there's going to be some big fish weighed. We're seeing more and more fish offshore show up every day. And I think it's going to play out where, right now it's a shallow frog bite. That's really good. When you drop out, buzz bait, something like that, or a weightless fluke. And then, if you drop back out, we're throwing deep crankbaits and Carolina rigs. Main lake points, humps, ledges,
Oh, man.
Hit the docks. It's going to be pick your poison.
So you're talking the Carolina rig with like a 10-inch ribbon tail worm and.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I like using the baby brush hogs or a fluke. Carolina rigging that fluke, putting a little of that chartreuse dip and glow on the little tail, make it look like a bluegill. The bluegill spawns on right now. That's where you're going to get that shallow bite. So, using that fluke with a little chartreuse dip and glow on that tail, just a little fork. That's all you want, just to right there on that fluke. And then and just throw it out there weightless on a 4/0 EWG hook, and man, hold on, because they're going to smash it.
Man, I tell you what, that sounds exciting. It is just so exciting. Deep water fishing, deep water Carolina rigging. I have these 12-inch long straight worms that just go like this. It's
right.
Wow. And something takes them.
Well, you notice I didn't, I kind of played off the worm a little bit because, I can't give away all my secrets, but there is one specific 6th Sense worm, long worm that that I'll be throwing. So, I guess the cat's out of the bag now, but yeah,
Well,
definitely.
There are no secrets. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, there are no secrets.
Well, with today's electronics, that forward-facing sonar and that 360, stuff's coming out of the bag, and you got your lovers and your haters, but
of course, people hate it. Oh no, it's going to ruin fishing. They also said that about when paper graphs came out. They also said that when graphing GPS sonar came out, and I think graphing technology, I think that was the greatest advancement ever for fishing, because now we can do our scouting.
Yeah, I mean, and really now with as much information is on social media, you have your Billy Lawson has that Fish Life app. You can get on those whole lake breakdowns right there. You can get a consultation with him. It's really anybody's game. I mean, the information's out there. Now we have the forward-facing sonar. We can see these things that we can see how these fish are reacting to the things we throw. So we know it just stacks that puzzle together and eliminates so much dead time of fishing. You're going to know whether those fish want to eat or whether they just want to look at it.
So you have a Facebook page for the, excuse me, never fails. You have a Facebook page for the Armed Forces Fishing League Louisiana, don't you?
Yes, it's AFFL Louisiana.
Okay, guys, just go on Facebook, do a search for that. I found Elijah through a post, because I don't even want to talk about how many hours a day I spend cruising, looking for fishing information, being a fishing podcaster. But I found them that way, guys. And, when I found him, I immediately texted him, and he immediately texted me back. So,
yeah, we want to grow it. We want to get all these people involved. We want to bring them together, and we want people to bring their families out to these weigh-ins. I want to make it big enough where, after we get done fishing, that camaraderie kicks in. We're going to sit down. We're going to break bread. We're going to tell stories. We can listen to music. One cool thing is all the events on Toledo Bend, Bridge Bay Resort loves our veterans so much that they're going to give a discount to any anglers who want to stay there and pre-fish. And they got covered boat slips with electricity. They got 2 boat ramps, restaurant right across the road. I mean, they're just set up. It's a perfect location at the base of the Pendleton Bridge, Mid-Lake area. And, they're going to be generous enough to let us come down there and give our guys a nice place to stay and at a discounted rate, because, like I said, we want to keep it cheap.
Yes. That's the first thing I looked at, Oh, geez, this is going to cost me $500 an event.
No, we don't want. It shouldn't cost that much to get us on the water.
But that was my first, because I follow the Bassmaster Opens, and then when I saw $100, I'm calling this guy.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't set those prices. Those were preset, and when I seen them, I said the same thing you did. I was like, wow, just $100 entry fee. Really? $10 big bass? What? That's nothing.
What's the payout?
Well, the payout will be listed on the website. It's 1 in every 5 spots. And I'm not sure. It depends on how many boats we have. And there's a graph on AFFL Louisiana Facebook page that shows you the requirements, and the payouts that we have. It'll be a little chart. I don't have them in front of me, so I couldn't say, but you're talking about 1 in 5 spots, though. Most tournaments go 1 in every 7, or I've seen them even 1 in every 10 spots. So 1 in every 5 gives a better chance for anglers to make money. And it's not that the payouts are going to be, really, really huge. They do, the more boats you get up there. I was looking,
Sure.
First place, when you're talking 40, 50 boats, might be close to $1,000, but does it take that much to get 50 boats? Not really, but then you're paying out so many places, for that, 50 boats, 1 in every 5. So a lot of people are going to be able to make money.
Sure.
off of these events, the more people we have fish them. So, and that's the idea of it, is that, keeping it cheap, it's not really about the money. It's
Yep.
about helping other veterans. It's about giving them some outdoor therapy. It's about that hook set. When you put another veteran on your boat, and I do it all the time. When you put a veteran on your boat and they don't really fish, or you put them on a fish, man, and they get that bite and they set that hook, the smile, the joy, the excitement, everything that comes, that's true and heartfelt. You can't replace that. Money can't buy that. And when you're out on these lakes and you're fishing, I'm a veteran. I know, I served overseas. Fishing saved my life. And I want to give that back to the other veterans and show them how fishing saved my life, because it just might save theirs.
I want to tell our viewers a story. Those guys who have been following me for years have heard this story before. I was working offshore. I was down in Patterson, Louisiana, which isn't a very nice place, and I lost my job offshore, and so did thousands of offshore workers. So I went from making 6 digits to nothing, and I couldn't find another job worldwide. This was in 2015 when the deepwater drilling industry crashed. And I was sitting there, I started drinking heavily again, and I'm sitting there, and one day, and I'm cruising the web, and I find an organization called Mission 6. And they said, if you're a veteran and you're down and out and you want to fish, or if you're just a veteran and you want to fish, give us a call. And I did. And these guys, over the course of the next 2 years, while I was trying to get back on my feet, they took me out 4 times. And I've told them that, and since then, I've had Mission 6 kind of folded a couple years ago, but when I started my podcast, they were some of the first people I had on to give back to them. And that's why I don't charge veterans organizations to geez, it's hard for me to talk about this. I don't charge veterans organizations. It's my service work. Give back to veterans, because those guys and these guys weren't even veterans. They just felt so strongly about helping them that they took veterans fishing. They said, we're going to fish anyways, let's help these guys out. And, they even took me out to go snapper fishing one time. I mean, but they took me and 25 other veterans, but that's an expensive trip.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. I mean, there isn't a, and we got to give it up to those guys who do that, because, it's not cheap to put those boats on the water. It's not cheap to buy the bait. It's not cheap, the gas, the oil, the insurance, everything you have to be out on that water and take people fishing. These charter captains, especially in South Louisiana, they're hands down some of the best dudes that live on this earth. They're true patriots. And most of the people in our, and that's another thing. Let me just touch on this. In the Armed Forces Fishing League, there won't be somebody kneeling at our flag. There won't be somebody that's disrespectful. We gave an oath to protect and serve this country against any enemy, foreign or domestic, and that oath still lives and burns in every one of us, and it will till the day we die. So our athlete, we have professional athletes that are $1 million athletes, that kneel at our flag and basically spit in our face for the guys who go over there and fight and get injured or lose their life, or whatever.
Lives,
yeah. You won't have that here. It's time to highlight veterans in sports. In our prime, when we served, we were the healthiest people on the planet, the strongest people on the planet. And you know what? It's time to highlight our nation's heroes, the guys who put on the uniform every day, the guys who have worn their uniform every day, the police officers, all these first responders, they run towards danger, and they do it because they have something bigger in themselves than life itself. And those are the people that we want to target. Those are the people we want to get out on the water, have that camaraderie with, because only we understand each other.
Yes, I completely agree, and that's why I do so. I believe in the cause.
Oh yeah,
You got me
I mean, and that's what it's about, man. Like I said, fishing saved my life. It can save another veteran's life. And if I just, and that's kind of been the way I've seen it. If I can save one veteran's life through fishing or the outdoors, then I will have repaid, back to my veteran brothers and sisters, just like they've paid in front of me. We got to think back to the guys in World War I, World War II, Vietnam. We got to think about our heroes, the ones who made it possible for us to be here. And that's why I joined, because I wanted to be one of those people for the future generations. Is why you're free. It's my duty as an American.
And that's what I told those guys from Mission 6. You'll never know. You'll never know how much it meant to those guys that you took fishing.
That's right.
You'll never know, because veterans are a proud group of people, and most of them will never tell you. They just, you don't know whose life he saved. You just don't.
Nope.
You don't know what was going on in that guy's head, that he was feeling useless because he's not working,
That's right. And a lot of them that come out, they just need that little ray of sunshine that might pick them up and, light a fire in them. They might come back to the lake and they might go get them a fishing pole. Hey, you know what? We'll do anything we can for a veteran. I've given my equipment to veterans who don't have it. Said, man, I really want to continue fishing. Well, here, take one of my poles. I'll get another one.
Yes.
Give them some baits to go along with it. It doesn't hurt me, but it means the world to that veteran. It doesn't matter whether it be a veteran, police officer, firefighter, EMS, all of them see tragic things, and they need a release for that. AFFL is the release for that. Thank God for Armed Forces Fishing League.
Hey, brother, we care. We care. It's amazing how much, I've come together with the guys I served with. A lot of them, we didn't even like each other when we were in, but we were just young punks and who were drinking too much. And, and now that we're all in our 50s, and a lot of us have passed on, but, now we're like brothers.
That's right. And that's the way we stay. And, we understand that. All of us veterans, when we went overseas or, whatever, we lost a lot of that. Our brothers and sisters to our right and left, that's all we had. Therefore, that brotherhood has to continue, and a lot of veterans come home feeling lost. We understand that. We've all, us older veterans, the ones who've been home for a long time, we've done fought these battles, and not that we still don't fight them, but we know how to cope with them a little bit better. So getting these young veterans who are coming back from deployments and this and that, we can help them in ways that other people can't, because we understand it. Young law enforcement officers might have had to pull the trigger on a criminal that was trying to attack somebody, or, something like that. He might not know how to deal with it, but we might have another law enforcement officer that's fishing our league that's been there and done that, and can say, hey, man, let me tell you something. Check this out. This is the way I cope. This is the way I do things. And that might just be the difference in his life. So, yeah, Armed Forces Fishing League, it's a godsend.
I completely agree with you. So I'm going to look this up real quick. I'm going to go over the dates of these tournaments.
Right.
I know Chico's July 17th.
15th.
That's going to be at Chico State Park. Oh, geez,
15th, right?
That's why I have you here. Hold on.
I don't even have it in front. I don't even have it in front of me, Jay.
Chico, July 15th. I know You have a better memory than me. Okay, Toledo Bend is June 10th. That's at Bridge Bay Resort. Lake Chico, that's at Chico State Park, July 15th. Now remember that, not 17th like I said, it's 15th like Elijah said. Caddo Lake, August 19th. And it says launch to be determined. September 23rd, Toledo Bend, again at Bridge Bay Resort. And here's an interesting one that I really want to go to. Sam Rayburn, October 14th at Humphrey Boat Ramp. I've never been on Sam Rayburn. I cannot, that just sounds like so much fun. And then November 18th, Toledo Bend at Bridge Bay Resort. And then there's going to be a 2-day classic in December on Toledo Bend. Wow. How much fun is that going to be?
You know, a lot of people think, and when I was talking with the founder of Armed Forces Fishing League, he's like, December. I was like, yeah, man, we don't put up our boats around Louisiana or Texas. I mean, we live in the South. We don't have, you know, he's a northern guy. We won't hound him too hard on here for being a Yankee. But Nick, I got you. But we don't have ice on our water that's, 3 foot thick in, January and February. We fish year round, and and then he kind of rubbed me back a little bit. He was like, yeah, but our spawn is just now kicking off. And I'm like, yeah, ours is over. That sucks. I might have to come up there with Nick and do some fishing up there, but the classic in December, 2-day event. It's going to be a really good time. We're going to, this year we're just starting out in Louisiana, so we have to cut the, season off in December apparently, but that classic will crown a winner of December and give him the bragging rights and hardware and stuff, and to that team who fishes. We have one drop event also. I want to throw that in there. There's one drop event, so if you have a bad tournament, we ain't gonna count one of them. So you can pick your worst one, and we'll do away with that. But the December 9th and 10th is, I catch more and bigger fish in the winter than I do in the summer, and sometimes better than I do in the fall. Winter is just a big fish time. I mean, not too cold. I don't want to fish in like 17-degree weather with 25-mile-an-hour north winds. That's a little ridiculous, but it's never like that down here in Louisiana, is it? I mean,
it has
hardly ever
since 2012, and I've seen snow twice.
Since 2012,
Anchorage, Alaska. Well, I came
here
from Alaska, and and before that, I told you I lived in northern Illinois.
Right.
Where, you don't think about, well, if the Illinois River was free of ice, I had my boat out there. I didn't winterize my boat because I lived right next to a river, and that was the best time of the year to catch saugers and walleyes, was when nobody else was on the water and there was ice flows.
Right. And see, I like deer season too, because a lot of the deer hunters, they hit the woods. Well, I hit the lake, so.
And you don't have to fight the crowds during deer season.
That's right. I mean, I do my hunting too, but more so I'm gonna hit that lake and catch some big fish while you can. So yeah, that December 9th and 10th, Toledo Bend, Bridge Bay, 2-day event. That's gonna be something to see. I'm interested to see what these anglers are gonna be able to put together,
Oh yeah, big fish. We have some comments here.
What do we got?
We got Nick Udenbach.
That's the founder of AFFL.
Well, Nick, I'm sorry I didn't see your stuff right away. He said ice fishing. Nick, I too am a Yankee, and I have spent a lot of time ice fishing. I started ice fishing as long as I can remember. And I think I was like 4 years old the first time Dad was allowed to take me out on the lake and sit in a shanty and catch crappies. It's so much fun. And man, you catch those crappies or yellow perch, and they just have such firm. They come out of ice cold water, and they have such firm meat. Fry them up right away. They're delicious. Just love it. Just love it. Thank you for tuning in, Nick. And also, I saw that you already had this on your website. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you for what you've done for the veterans too.
Without that man, none of this is possible.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Nick. And man, I was telling everybody at work about this. I found a bass trail that I want to fish.
Well, we're gonna make it fun, that's for sure. The more we grow, the more we can do.
Absolutely.
I know there's things coming. We threw Louisiana together really quick, Nick and I. I mean, it took us, maybe less than a month to get everything together, for me to get signed on, and get all the equipment in. And I mean, I'm still pushing my scales get certified this Saturday. So, I mean, we're still pushing the envelope, but we're making it happen. I mean, the hard work, it all pays off when I get to send these boats out on the water and, get some weigh-ins done and see the excitement and, stories and, because I mean, soldiers, hell, we can sit there and talk for hours.
All day long. Yeah.
Long. We'll probably have to run them out of there, shut it down, close it down, but yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I think AFFL Louisiana is going to go a long way. And I know we reached over into Texas a little bit to hit Sam Rayburn, but Sam Rayburn is a big bass factory, just like Toledo Bend is, and the thing about Toledo Bend is the grass is back.
Yes.
The grass is back. The lily pads, the hydrilla. I mean, it's all there. We're finding grass and, that's 4 or 5 foot tall and 20 foot of water.
Wow. Well, Nick, it's 35 minutes after the hour, so that's about all the time we have. So would you like to make any shout outs before we close down?
Yeah, definitely to the founder of AFFL, Nick. We appreciate everything you do for us and making all this possible for me to bring it to Louisiana. I'm also going to go ahead and thank my sponsor, Veterans United Home Loans. They're going to step in and do a bunch of stuff for us throughout the league, providing us cool swag to give away and things like that. They got some programs to help veterans out who don't have credit, to buy a home. They're going to help you fix that credit, and then they're the lender, so they're going to be able to, get you where you need to be, and then loan you the money to buy a home. It's everything I do is in the pursuit of helping veterans. So we invite you guys to come on out, have fun with us, fish with us, win some money, hopefully. Better bring your A game though, because we're gonna have some sticks fishing. Fort Polk stepping in, helping us out with some anglers. So it's gonna be a good time. Like I said, any law enforcement, police, fire, EMTs, DOD contractors, and then a civilian if you don't have a boat. And if you don't have a boat, just reach out to us. We'll see what we can do to get you on a boat. Yeah, come on out with us. I appreciate you having me on and sharing this with your podcast and letting us bring it to the people of Louisiana and all over.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. I know you're a busy man. Got to be busy with the first tournament coming up. I'm sure there's endless stuff to do, endless stuff. But anyways, thank you very much for coming on. And I'd like to thank all the viewers of the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. Again, my name is Jay Angel with very special guests from the EFFL, Elijah Talley. Let's Talk Fishing Podcast is brought to you by Grant Rods, Cornfield Fishing Gear, Shongaloo Outdoor Soft Plastics. And you know what, guys? It's Thursday. Go ahead and make your plans. Get out there and fish this weekend. You only get to do this once. And stick around, Elijah. I'm going to end the podcast now.